What's up, everybody? It's everybody's favorite Illinois State champion, the glorious one, Eric Naretto, coming to you live from inside of Jay's garage. So it's been a long time. It's been about 2 months. I got busy doing some things, but I wanted to revisit a certain YouTube series that I'm doing on my YouTube channel, G1 Television, and that is called The Road to Glory. In the first episode, if you checked out the first episode, I gave you an introduction into my life, and it's a very personal part of my life. I introduced you to George. I introduced you to the story of how I became who I am, how I began to evolve from the person that I was, which was that arrogant, bad individual, and then I transcended with the help of George, and I rose to the occasion, and fast forward all the way to today, the person that I am today is definitely a much different version of myself than when I was younger. And we left off last episode where I was telling you that I was going to begin to talk about the early days of pool for me, with George, the little tournaments and things of that nature. So I just want to take the time to really talk about it because once again, in the first episode, I declared that folks, we don't know enough about each other. The pool community is definitely a community that we keep to ourselves. And I don't think that's necessarily right. We're a family. I mean, there are millions of us that play this game, and we're still stuck in the 1970s, 1980s trajectory of we keep to ourselves for that chance at money, or at the chance of playing somebody that we don't like and things like that. We all 'cause I mean, some of us are single children, but for the most of us, we're all part of a community. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, all of you are my brothers and sisters, and there are some people in our family that we don't like, and that we don't get along with. But at the end of the day, I personally think that this is a community of individuals that should be steered in a certain direction, should be steered in a good direction, not just for the promotion of the game, but to transform the promotion of the game into a promotion of a sport. There's an often battle of is it a sport, is it a game? I think it's absolutely a sport, but many people think that it's a game. Um, so I guess I'm just going to begin with going back in time. So I grew up in a little bowling alley that's in Pontiac, Illinois, and George finally took me under his wing, and George decided to show me some things. And I tell you what, man, for for someone who really really enjoyed the game, I was super super bad, and there was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. There was only one thing here. Since I'm in the garage, I'll grab a cue stick here so you can see this. So we talk about the idea of natural ability, right? And when we talk about natural ability, there was only one thing that came natural to me. When I got down to bend over a cue, the bridge, for some reason, that was natural to me. I wasn't someone who was like this or this or anything like that, or like this or anything. For some reason it felt comfortable to get down like that. And there's an argument of natural ability. And I was talking with Mark Wilson last year, and in Mark Wilson's book, Play Great Pool, he talks about the idea of natural ability and how pool players and other athletes should find natural ability very offensive. So basically, what we're telling people is, oh, you have natural ability. So the amount of hours that you put in to do something didn't matter, basically, because you had natural ability. You were already good at something. Folks, I don't think there's anything. Um, I don't think there's such thing as natural ability. But what I will tell you, what I do think is true, is that people learn quicker than others, and people understand things quickly and better than other people. So is it the fact that you have natural ability? So I guess this is like the G1 question of the day, I guess, Is there such thing as natural ability? Or is there such thing as learning curves, I guess you can say. So being an instructor, I believe I know the answer to that, but once again, everybody is entitled to their own opinions. So it is what it is. But anyway, so there were so many things that I didn't know. And George was the kind of guy who was like, here, if you do this, this will happen. But he followed up with, I'm not good enough to do this. I just know it works. And for someone to be able to break down something like that. I mean, literally, I want you to take the time to think about it. If you do this, this will happen, but I can't show you how to do it because I'm not good enough to do it. But if you do this, this will happen. And then you can take that information and spin it to where you can do it. And then, you make a firm believer out of your teacher because he even looks at it and he thinks, oh man, it does work. For George to see that what he was saying was working, I think it really helped him, and it goes back to what I said in the first episode where I told him, I said, if you listen to my deal, I think we can both grow from it. And his teaching through me helped him grow as a pool player, and as an instructor now, I can firmly tell you that anytime that I instruct someone, man, it's just reinforcing what I already know. It's so often that we forget about the basics, about going to the basics, about at the end of the day, why draw a ball when you can stun a ball or send it forward? I mean, just the basics of pool we often forget, and then bam, we miss a ball. So to have that educational experience with George, to know that I could see him growing was a great thing. So we practiced for the first couple months, and then someone decided to start running Friday night tournaments out at the bowling alley, and we had 4 9-foot Brunswick Gold Crowns, and it was a $5 entry fee, no money added. It was basically just a group of us who played pool all night, and just said, hey, forget it, let's just put money in, and we'll all play with each other in a tournament, and if someone wins $30, all right, cool, that's great, and if not, well, you lost $5, but you played pool for 8 hours or something like that. Excuse me. So those tournaments started, and I don't think I won one for 3 months, something like that, and kept trying though. I remember when I won the very first one in the bowling alley. I was playing a player named Dan who doesn't live here anymore. He lives further down south now, and for me to win that tournament, how many times have we seen a player just scream, oh yeah, I won, blah blah, and just go crazy? But folks, I was so stunned that I won that tournament, I truly couldn't believe it. I shook his hand afterwards, and he said, "You played really good," and I said, "Thank you." They gave me the money for the first time, and I just sat there and I just looked at it. I thought to myself, I won. I won something. Going back into high school, I was pretty much made feel like I wouldn't amount to anything, and here I am in a different sport, and I won something. So it was pretty fascinating to me, and then it gave me drive to work even harder than that, and we ran those tournaments for about 5 months before people quit coming to them. When it comes to the bowling alley, Pontiac's a very barish type of town, so there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of bar tables in it, and people just didn't come out to the bowling alley because they were used to playing on the smaller tables. They didn't want to play on the bigger tables because the tables were harder, and it was annoying for us. But I mean, at the time we were under 21, me and a group of friends, we couldn't even get in the bars if we wanted to. So George really helped me out a lot. Just within 3 short months, I was able to capture like my first pool tournament. And I mean, I might have only won $25. I think there were only like 7 people in it, but the money wasn't the purpose. It was the glory feature. I won something, and I went home about it, and I was super excited about it, and without George, that never really would have happened. And George continued to lead me in this road to glory, over a whole bunch of stuff. So I mean, without him, I definitely wouldn't be the player that I am today. So again, this is what I'm labeling on YouTube as the George series. So I'm going to talk to you about my time with George, up until the day that he passed, because he was an influential person to me. And at the end of the first video, I posted a challenge to you, and I asked you to find a player and spread some knowledge. And it's coming about that time. I'm hitting the 10-minute mark, and I don't like these videos to go over 10 to 12 minutes, just for attention span purpose and things like that. So I'll post another one some other time. But I have a challenge for you today in reaction to that. We need to take the time and we need to honor the people who taught us things. And what I would like you to do, your G1 challenge of the day, is to find someone who helped you. Go out of your way, take the time. It only takes a couple minutes. Find someone that helped you. Send them a message on Facebook. Call them. Talk with them. Recognize and let them recognize that you are grateful for the information that they gave you. Your G1 challenge of the day is to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen. In pool, sometimes it's hard to say thank you. And I mean, pool's a brutal game. It's a great game, but man, it's a brutal game, and I think we all know that. But take the time today, even if it's just a little piece of information. I could go into a whole bunch of people who have taught me how to do things in this game. George, thank you for teaching me how to be respectful. By you teaching me how to be respectful, you aided me in growing into who I am today. And I can't tell you that now because you're not here anymore. But I know you're listening. I know you're around me all the time. And I do want to say thank you. And I hope upstairs you're looking down on me. And I hope I make you proud. Take this time, call a coach, message a coach, and tell them thank you. This is Eric Naretto with G1's TV's version of Episode 2, The Road to Glory. Everybody have a fantastic afternoon.